Cape Joel, and this next great comic book video has been brought to you by the good folks over at Trendy Butler, the company that helps me step up my wardrobe game every month. Whether you're a humble nerdy YouTuber or just someone looking for some better clothes, Trendy Butler will help a fella out by customizing a brand new box of clothes and delivering it to you every month for a reasonable price. I've got a link down in the description. Check them out, tell them your good pal Joel sent you, and with that, let's hop on into the video, which is...
We're taking a closer look at Detective Comics Annual Issue Number 1. Take a trip back to the past and learn the dark, tragic tale of Basil Karlo. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop on in together and find out for ourselves, shall we? So, yeah, if you haven't been following along, the last arc of Detective Comics under James Tynion has pretty much been one giant long saga about the sad life of Clayface, and here we get some further context by flashing back to his early childhood. As we learn, Basil's dad, Vincent Karlo, get it, a Vincent Price reference, also worked in the movies. He did prosthetic works. Basically, he's like a John Chambers, if you will. A guy who specialized and excelled in the realm of monster and creature makeup. Why was his work so good? Well, a couple things. For one, he used his own face as a template, saying that the true secret to making a monster seem real and relatable is to put a little bit of humanity inside him. His other ace in the hole was the chemical compound known as Renew, created by the Daggett Corporation. Ooh, we're going deep into Clayface lore now. Basil's dad, we find out, got drummed out of Hollywood because of his own personal demons. It's implied that he was a drinker and that impacted his work. If nothing else, though, he did impart his son a piece of knowledge about Hollywood. And that is, people love to see monsters on the big screen, but they hate to see them in real life. So basically, keep all your dark impulses deep down buried where they can't hurt you. And young Basil would internalize that message into his adulthood, where he would actually break on through and become an actor of some note. His career was just starting to take off, and against his agent's advice, Basil refused a big blockbuster to instead do a smaller, more personal movie about, get this, a special effects artist who goes nuts and kills the actors who are putting on a remake of one of his original movies. Basil confides in then-girlfriend Gloria, aka the woman who will become Mudface in the future, about how this is, really important to him. He really wants to show Hollywood that he's more than just a pretty face, that, he can emote and he can show a sort of darkness and sadness on screen, but actually make people love him for it. Yep, it looks like everything is going Basil Karlo's way. That is, of course, until he gets a phone call telling him that his father has passed away, which leads him to get into a car accident, which leaves him horribly and utterly disfigured, meaning that his acting career is pretty much dead in the water. In an act of desperation, Basil returns to his father's home and attempts to use the Renew U compound to fix his face. It works, but here's the problem. Renew was discontinued by the Daggett Corporation after it ended up poisoning a bunch of people, which means if Basil wants it, he's going to have to steal it. This, as you might have guessed, ends up catching the eye of Batman, who was all too quick to put him down. Damn it, Batman, he's not a common hood. He was trying to make movie magic. I bet you prefer television, don't you? The worst part for Basil isn't even getting arrested, it's getting outed as a criminal and given the cruel name Clayface in the paper. Then he gets bumped from the movie project, made even sadder still because the director woman was gonna give him the part anyway, disfigurement or no disfigurement. Ooh, that's some cruel-ass irony. Now later that night, Batman comes to Basil saying he doesn't believe that he's a bad guy. In fact, he wants his help in taking down Daggett. You see, all the people who had their lives ruined by Renew were also paid off by the Daggett Corporation. Basil could be Batman's smoking gun, and if he's willing to work with Harvey Dent, then they might finally be able to take him down. Furthermore, Batman tries to relate to Basil, saying he doesn't think he's a bad guy, he just thinks he's a dude who's about to let one horrible experience in his life define him for the rest of it. Oh my, Batman can definitely relate to this predicament now, can't he? And you know what, for a second there, it actually looks like Basil is thinking about working with the good guys, but he very stupidly decides to rob the police evidence locker and get some more Renew. This leads to a shootout with some dirty cops who have been paid to off Basil by the Daggett Corporation, and he ends up getting soaked with a bunch of the science goo. And with that, what's left of Basil Karlo is washed away and Clayface is officially born. What's his first act of villainy? Well, apparently they replaced him in that movie he really wanted to do with a new up-and-coming actor who looks just like him. Batman is ultimately there to stop him, and so is Basil's girlfriend. girlfriend, she ends up getting hit with some of the same Renew formula as well, turning her into Mudface. The comic ends on a very tragic, soul-shattering note as Basil once again remembers his father telling him, "Never let them see your monster, son, never let them see it." Well, you know, 2018 has barely been going for that long, and I think Detective Comics Annual #1 is an easy shoo-in for the feel-bad comic of the year. Mainly because I liked it so much, and it works because it is so effective in managing to get an emotional response out of me, the reader. It's a story that speaks a lot to the idea of personal image, the masks people wear in private and in public, as well as the superficial nature of Hollywood. Tynan's also really smart enough to not really point a finger at Basil. You can think for yourself whether or not he was doomed to his fate from the beginning, or if he chose what happened to him. In fact, given Clayface's uncertain status in Detective Comics right now, this story could very well be the last word written on him for a while, and if so, I think it's a hell of a send-off, even a celebration of his character. I would give this one a 9 out of 10, so that's Detective Comics, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, be sure to take a look at some of the other stuff I've been working on. Then you can follow me on social media at CapeJoel, so you always know what I'm doing next. And hey, if you like what I do and are feeling in a supportive mood, please by all means check out my Patreon page down in the description. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. So until next time, everyone, this has been CapeJoel. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye-bye.